Scorecard 1 and Causal Loop Diagram. Scorecard 1 is a wickedness assessment tool that gives an indication on the complexity of the challenge of a clean and just energy transition. There are 10 categories assessing aspects such as the dimension for the problem, its root causes, its possible effects, its pace, and more. Its category is given a score from 1 to 7, and all the scores are summed up to a total out of 70. Based on the total score, the problem is defined to be simple if the score is 10 to 20, complicated if the score is 20 to 35, complex if the score is 35 to 50, and wicked if the score is 50 to 70. The total score for this challenge was 48, which classified it as a complex challenge. For a justification on why we gave each score for the categories, please refer to the written dossier. A causal loop diagram aids in visualizing the interactions between different variables in a system. It has endogenous drivers, exogenous drivers, and leverage points which influence the output of the system. Endogenous drivers are factors within the system that are influenced by other elements in it. They evolve due to internal feedback loops and can either accelerate or slow down progress towards the goal of a clean and just energy transition. These include public acceptance of energy transition, renewable energy adoption rate, energy prices, short-term and long-term, and more. Exogenous drivers are external factors that influence the system but are not directly influenced by it. These are forces outside the Dutch energy transition system that can still have a significant impact, such as global fossil fuel prices and European Union policies and climate targets. System leverages points are places within a system where a small change can significantly impact the output of the system. Leveraging certain elements can accelerate or stabilize the transition more effectively. These include government subsidies and policy support, investment in smart grids and storage infrastructure, employment transition programs, and more. The feedback loops in a causal loop diagram can be classified as reinforcing or balancing. In reinforcing loops, change in one direction is compounded by more change, while in balancing loops, change in one direction is countered with change in the opposite direction. Reinforcing loops in this initial causal loop diagram include the investment and cost reduction loop, the public acceptance and policy support loop, and the smart grid and energy storage loop. Balancing loops include the employment shift loop and the energy price stabilization and cost of living loop.